Hi Aries, welcome to your love reading for November 2025. I hope you're doing well. As you know, this is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. Okay, Aries, let's see what spirits want you to know for November 2025. So we have the Eight of Wands, the Page of Cups, the Ten of Cups, the Knight of Wands, the Emperor, the Empress. We also have the Page of Wands, Five of Coins, the Page of Coins, and the Six of Wands. So the main energy around your love life for November 2025 is the Six of Wands. So this is a great card to get as your main energy because it is the energy of victory and kind of getting over any obstacles that might be around your love life for November 2025. Okay, so let's go ahead and take it one card at a time. Okay, so your first card is the Eight of Wands. This card represents movement, action, kind of things happening. Sometimes it represents communication. And I already see it down here. You have two pages down here. So I feel, Aries, that there may be some important communication when it comes to love. And it could be that you're hearing from someone from the past. You have the Page of Coins here and the Page of Wands. And to me, the pages represent communication. And this card represents communication. But this card represents movement, action, things finally moving along after a time of kind of being stuck. So if your love life has really not gone anywhere like in the past few months, or you've been kind of stuck in a negative relationship, it's like coming into the month, there's an opportunity for you to, finally meet somebody new, or, get your partner to commit, to move to the next level. This is just kind of something positive and something exciting happening in your love life. Possibly, like I said, it could even be communication, somebody from the past, or you just might get the type of communication that you want from your partner. And you have a page right here and the Page of Cups. So, as I was saying, you have three pages. So to me, this represents communication. So I feel like communication in some way is really important for you. The Page of Cups represents, in general, it's not communication, it is love. Someone offering you love. It is either a new love or rekindling an old relationship. And you now, for those of you who are single, I feel like November 2025 can be a really great month for you. Because like I said, the Eight of Wands is here, and that card comes up when you've been stuck and you've really not seen anything happen in your love life or in your life in general. It's been quiet, no excitement. And that card is kind of like fireworks. Finally, something happens and you're so excited you don't know what to do with yourself. And I feel like here, somebody new comes into your life that is possibly marriage material because you have the Ten of Cups there. This is somebody kind of, new. For those of you who are single, there's the energy for you to meet somebody new. If you're already in a relationship, this is, rekindling your relationship. And with the Eight of Wands over there, it just means if your relationship was starting to go downhill, you've been struggling, remember that you have this energy here of the Six of Wands, which represents victory. So if you've been struggling, the energy is there for you to rekindle your relationship to get things back to the way they used to be. So I kind of feel like that message of communication still applies for those who are already coupled. Like, this is the perfect time, November 2025 is a perfect time for you to communicate your needs to your partner. You know, kind of get across, like, you know, what issues you have, concerns you have. This is kind of things really kind of working out for you, rekindling what you already have, or even meeting somebody new. You have the Ten of Cups. So this is, you know, the perfect card to see in a love reading, because this card represents marriage, children, love, happiness. It's kind of like that happily ever after energy. So, you know, I feel like for those who have been struggling, you know, where you're trying to recapture the magic in your relationship, you can make that happen. The energy is there for you to get, you know, those fireworks back, that spark back in your relationship. But again, for those who are single, there's an opportunity for you to meet somebody who's not just like, you know, a possible date, you know, a casual friend. This can be your life partner. This can be someone that you marry and spend the rest of your life with. But this card also just means happiness. I feel like those who are already coupled, like I said, the spark is reignited with the Page of Cups, where you kind of really feel like, you know, you're connecting with your partner again. Okay, so let's move on to the next row. You have the Knight of Wands. Okay, so the Knight of Wands. This can be a reference to someone who's a fire sign. Of course, you are a fire sign, so this could be you. But generally, I don't read the knights as court cards. I only read the queens and the kings. But I thought I would still mention that. The knight, this to me represents change. All the knights represent change and movement. But this knight is kind of really kind of fiery and restless and full of energy and enthusiasm, and wants to kind of move forward and move away from negative situations and negative people. So I feel like this is you. I feel like you're really kind of determined. For those who are already in a relationship, you're determined to make things work. This could be you or your partner. I feel like somebody is really determined to win. And remember that the main energy for you is the Six of Wands, the victory card. So I feel like here, somebody's determined to like, you're either determined to make something work or you're determined to win. I'm even getting that for singles. This can mean that you have your eye on someone and like you really want to be in a relationship with this person, and you are determined and you are persistent that you're going to get what you want. And I feel like the energy is actually there for you to have that. But like I said, this is very kind of fiery energy. It's like full of enthusiasm, like I'm going to get what I want. For some of you, it could be a new relationship. For others, it's, you know, making your relationship work. So I thought this was interesting. We have the Emperor and the Empress. When I see things like this, whether it's the Emperor and the Empress or the King and the Queen, I feel like it's two people who belong together, because the Emperor obviously belongs with his Empress. So I feel like, you know, you and your partner, this is a general reading, but this is what I'm getting. You and your partner belong together, those who are coupled. So any obstacles that you have, you just kind of have to work around them, talk them through. That's why you have so many pages in this reading. You have 3 of them. Communication is a big thing for you this month. But I also feel, you know, those who are single, you are determined in November 2025 to go after somebody. And this could be somebody new that comes into your life, you know. you want to meet somebody new. You're determined to find that partner in November 2025, and the energy is there for you to do that. Or you have your eye on someone, and I feel like if you have your eye on someone that you feel an attraction to, this could actually, be your partner, someone that you belong with. But let's go ahead, read the Emperor. The Emperor, to me, this card represents being in control. This is kind of, a message of authority. This is a message of stability. This is a message of stability, feeling in control of your life. And I feel like this is really important because we had the Knight of Wands down there, which I went on and on about how that's like very fiery, enthusiastic energy. So I feel like here, this is, really kind of building on that energy. The energy is really strong when it comes to your love life. I feel like you really have to feel like you are on top of things. You have to feel like you're in control of your life. You don't feel like a victim. Don't feel like things are out of your control. Like if you can't, if your partner's not communicating with you, or you feel like you're not meeting the right person, like you have to feel like, I'm going to make this happen. And I feel like, you do have that energy with the Knight of Wands there. This is just kind of being on top of everything and feeling in control and kind of, having a sense of stability. Or some of you, you may even be taking steps kind of to have a solid foundation when it comes to those who are single. For those who, setting the foundation for having a family. Because I do see a family here. I see it here in the Ten of Cups, and I see it in the Empress. Both cards represent marriage and children. So the Empress, this is the ultimate card of abundance. And like I said, she does represent marriage and children. So I feel like, the energy is strong. Those who are single, I feel like November 2025 can be like a really magical month for you if you're feeling really like optimistic and self-confident, and I'm gonna meet somebody this month. And I feel like whoever it is that you meet, because of the synchronicity of having the Empress and the Emperor, that you can find the person that you really belong with. Or if you have your eye on someone, you belong with this person. And like I said, the Empress, this is, marriage. This is not just happiness. This is marriage and children and stability. Just like the Emperor, this is you having beauty around you, having beautiful things, just happiness, joy, good health. So, married or single, I feel like this is a really positive omen for you that, committed relationships, whether it's, keeping your relationship, staying together, or meeting somebody that can actually be your life partner. I feel like it's just like two people that belong together come together. Okay, so down here you have the Page of Wands. So, here's that page I was talking about. To me, again, they represent communication. So this page in particular, this page represents good news. So if you've been hoping to hear from someone, you have a lot of confirmation in this reading. But this page represents good news. It's kind of like news that kind of lights up your life. It really kind of sparks things up. But it also represents, kind of change and excitement, which is really interesting because that is the same message from the Eight of Wands. They're very similar cards. And if you look at the reading like this, there's all this fire. So, you are a fire sign. So I feel like November 2025 is a month for you if you're really kind of feeling upbeat and self-confident and optimistic. The Page of Wands means that you're being very kind of, fiery, and that you're moving outside your comfort zone, that you're being adventurous, kind of doing your own thing. So those who are single, there's all this energy here telling you that you can find your life partner, the person that you belong with, but you have to be out there somewhere. It's like you can cross paths with this person, but only if you're out there looking for them, not if you're kind of staying at home and playing it safe. But this can also be, you and your partner, if you're a couple. This can mean that, that maybe you receive good news from your partner that then, yes, I still love you and I want to be with you. Or it can just be, that you and your partner finally move out of that phase where you're struggling and you move on to something exciting and something positive together. So the next card that you have is the Five of Coins. So this card represents, this is the only challenging card that you have. This is such a positive reading. The Five of Coins, this means that someone kind of feels lonely, somebody feels like an outsider. You feel like you're not receiving the attention or the love that you deserve. You feel like you don't belong. You feel in the dark. And I kind of feel like this is the energy that maybe you were struggling with before. And that's why there's all these messages of communication, like communicate how you're feeling. You literally have this card, of loneliness surrounded by two pages, which, like I said, to me, they represent communication. So let your partner know, those who are coupled, that you're feeling this energy, that you're feeling lonely, or you feel like they're not including you, or you feel in the dark when it comes to your relationship. This is just kind of, not quite connecting, feeling like you're not on the same page. But ironically, you have these pages surrounding it. So I feel like communication is a key. Like, you don't have to be in the dark. You don't have to feel alone. Then you have the Page of Coins. Again, communication, but this card also represents knowledge, studying your situation carefully. So I feel like those who may feel hopeless about where their relationship is, it's not what it seems. So don't give up. Don't turn your back on your partner, because this card means that you have to study something very carefully. And since we're talking about a relationship, you have to look at your relationship carefully. You have to look at your partner if they're leaving you out, or you feel like they're not sharing everything, because of this message here. Ask yourself why. Look deeper into the situation of your partner. Of course, communicate. Even for those who are single, this still means that you could miss some piece of information. I feel like this could be, people around you who may be potential partners, and it could be someone that you normally would not consider your type. I feel like this just means, keep your eyes open. This is a card of knowledge, and I feel like you don't want to miss any details when it comes to your love life. And for those who are single, it can mean that there could be a potential partner around that you may not think, that they're your type, or think that they're interested, and they might actually be interested. So, interesting reading. All right, now let's see what confirmation comes up for Aries. You have the High Priestess, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Empress again, and the Five of Swords and the Five of Pentacles. Okay, so this is a card of caution, and I really kind of feel that this caution is connected to this card, and ironically they're both fives. All the fives are challenging cards, but the Five of Swords, this is telling you to be careful. It's not a, it's not to, it's not in, well, it is kind of a challenging card, but it is kind of telling you to not, don't make a decision you're going to regret. This can be an empty victory. You make a decision and then you wish that you could take it back. And I kind of feel, I feel like this is Spirit's way of confirming what I was saying. those of you that you feel like something's going on with your partner and you're jumping to conclusions, and some of you may be coming into the month feeling like, I need to, like, you know, leave this person behind or end this relationship. This card is telling you, keep your eyes open and don't make a decision that you're going to wish you could take back. And remember, the Page of Coins here was telling you, look at all the details because you don't want to miss something. So this just means, like, you know, if you're going to make a decision, make a wise decision. Do your homework. Okay, so the first card here is the High Priestess. So you have a lot of help as far as making that decision. This is a very spiritual card. It's a card of intuition, psychic abilities, dreams, synchronicities. So I feel like, if, you know, for those who are struggling in a relationship, there's going to be plenty of signs screaming at you. You know, pay attention, or don't do that, or yes, do that. This is just kind of spiritual energy. And I also feel like you would be very intuitive when it comes to love. So for those who are single, this reading is screaming at you that there is a connection waiting for you in November 2025. And I feel like, you know, I felt guided to this card here. Like, if you need to be somewhere where that person is going to be, whoever you're meant to be in a relationship with, you know, the Emperor and the Empress together, your intuition is going to guide you to show you, you know, where you need to go and when. So don't ignore your intuition in November 2025. And then you have the Eight of Pentacles. So this is, you know, work. This is kind of like a work in progress. So I feel like, you know, things may not necessarily, like, work out beautifully. You may not see the final result in November 2025, but this is just kind of telling that there's work to do in your love life. For those who are in a relationship, you know, there are a lot of positive cards for you that things will work out. But I feel like, you know, the work will continue. And for those who are single, you know, your love life is a work in progress. So, like, don't feel pessimistic, don't feel defeated, don't bring any negative feelings or energies along with you, because I feel like November 2025 can be a really positive month for you. Now you have the Empress as a repeating card. Remember that she is right here. She came up with the Emperor. So they're really kind of emphasizing when it's a major arcana, and I mean, it's a repeating card. So when, you know, when one of these shows up on this side, when it's already over here, Spirit is kind of screaming this message to you right now. And like I said, this is a message of having it all. To me, the Empress represents the ultimate abundance. You can have the marriage of your dreams, the love, the, you know, the man or the woman of your dreams. This is a message to not settle, because you can have it all. The family, the career, the home, everything. This is a really abundant time for you as well, a magical time. Like I said, marriage and children, and there's so many, you know, messages in this reading that resonate with that. So extremely positive reading. I feel like, you know, communication is a key if you are kind of struggling with something here with the Five of Swords. Remember that the main energy over here was the Six of Wands, which represents victory. Okay, Aries, I will end the reading here. I hope you enjoyed it. Much love and bless.